Well, it looks like Spider-Man fans and Venom fans are finally going to be getting what we've been hoping and waiting for, and that is a crossover of not only Tom Hardy's Venom and Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but a crossover with the MCU and Sony's Spider-verse. Yes, it does indeed seem like that is the plan for both Marvel and Sony, with Sony basically having a huge grand plan of doing a movie so big that it will be the Avengers Endgame of the Sony Spider-Man universe. Except it's going to be more like Avengers Secret Wars, with the exception that instead of having multiple different superheroes come from all of these different universes, they're pretty much just going to be Spider-Man, Spider-Man variants, and other Spider-Man iterations. This is looking more and more like our future from Marvel and Sony. Now, Sony just released the trailer for Madam Web a couple of days ago, and Venom 3 is supposed to come out November 8th of 2024. They still have filming to do, however, they just picked it up since the strikes are over. So as far as we know, that is the date. And what we've heard so far from some insiders is that we are expected to see Tom Hardy's Venom and Tom Holland's Spider-Man face off against each other sooner rather than later. So right now, all eyes are pointed at Venom 3, but we do have some news today about Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland. Plus, like I mentioned, Sony's overall plan combined with Marvel Studios for the future of the Sony Spider-verse and Tom Holland Spider-Man. We'll break down everything you need to know in this video, and if you're new, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Spider-Man news. And if you subscribe and leave a comment down below, you are automatically entered in our giveaway for a chance to win a PS5, an Xbox Series X, some Marvel Legends items, and some DC items as well. The winner gets to pick one item, and we pick one winner at the end of each month. So before the strike started, Marvel came out, Sony came out, even Tom Holland came out and talked about how they had already started working on Spider-Man 4. They were meeting at the studio, they were going over the script, and Tom Holland said that he really liked the script. So things have been in motion for a while. The strikes obviously delayed the movie and postponed them talking about it and further developing it, but now they're back on it. And Marvel is moving full steam ahead. The strikes delayed them, but now they are working on a lot, and they delayed a lot. The Thunderbolts, Blade, Captain America Brave New World. The only movie coming out next year in 2024 is Deadpool 3. And why? Well, because they are now working on all of this since they finally can, since the strikes are over. And of course, in the midst of working on all of their projects, Spider-Man 4 is one of those projects. And we heard today from insider Daniel RPK that Spider-Man 4 is going to be kind of a little bit of a multiverse film, just like Spider-Man 3 No Way Home was. However, much like Spider-Man No Way Home, Spider-Man 4 will be a Sony Spider-Man universe connection. So the Spider-Man multiverse, not the multiverse as a whole in the MCU. He posted on his Patreon that in Marvel Studios' Spider-Man 4, there will be more connections to the SSU, Sony Spider-Man universe, paving the way for a potential merger of the MCU and SSU. And this is huge. Ever since Spider-Man No Way Home came out and Sony announced that they were doing Madam Web, Kraven the Hunter, and other Spider-Man movies, we've pretty much theorized that Sony is going to lead up to a big crossover with all of their characters that they are creating in this universe, which is of course a shared universe, and that they were most likely moving towards Spider-Man Spidergeddon, which is just even insane to think about. But now it sounds more and more like this is the end game for Sony. They are indeed building up to something, just like the beginning of the MCU led to the Avengers, and of course the entire Infinity Saga led up to Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. That's what Sony is planning on doing. They have seen it work for Marvel. They have realized that Spider-Man is a cash cow for them and is a massive success pretty much all around every time. Speaking of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, that is. So of course, why would they not want to have the universe that they are creating eventually have Tom Holland in it? And the good news is we don't have to wait till Spidergeddon to see him. He is most likely coming in Venom 3, or Venom is most likely arriving in the MCU in Spider-Man 4. On October 24th, the insider My Time to Shine Hello said this in a tweet, responding to another tweet of which Venom was better, Spider-Man PS5 or Sony Spider-Man universe, and she said, "The movies did it better. They didn't even touch on the split personality stuff in the game. Movie Venom is also so much fun. I can't wait to see him and Tom Holland's Spidey fight sooner sooner than you think. And of course, like we have been talking about for a while, Tom Hardy has been teasing a Spider-Man vs. Venom fight for a while now. We all know what Tom Hardy does. He posts a picture on his Instagram of Venom and Spider-Man, or just of Spider-Man, and then deletes it right away. But he knows we take screenshots, so he does this on purpose. Then in an interview, he said outright the end goal for Venom is Venom versus Spider-Man. If this is the Olympics, then Spider-Man is the gold medal, and that they would be crazy not to do that. So it looks like Tom Holland's Spider-Man might be in Venom 3, since this is supposed to be the last Venom film that Tom Hardy is doing. And if he wants to go out with a bang, well, him versus Spider-Man is arguably the best way to go out, and we would be getting that next year. Spider-Man 4 is supposed to come out between Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars. Now, with everything being delayed and pushed back, we don't really know when we're going to get Avengers Secret Wars. It could get pushed back again, and some people have estimated that we might not even get it till 2028. So Insider My Time to Shine Hello's tweet stating it's going to happen sooner than you think is probably referring to Venom 3, which would in turn set up Spider-Man 4 to deal more with the multiverse of the SSU, Sony Spider-Man universe. So from here, it's all about building up a universe and preparing fans for a crossover. Something that is also worth noting that's very interesting is something that was revealed in the book MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios. And that is the fact that Chris McKenna and Eric Sommers, the writers for Spider-Man No Way Home, were told that Kraven the Hunter was unavailable until Sony established him in a solo movie, which is really interesting because this means that they can eventually have him in the MCU, but they need him to be in the SSU first, which means a crossover could happen. It seems like this was always part of Sony's plan. Amy Pascal did say that they, of course, would be foolish to not build up to a Sinister Six eventually, but that is most likely going to happen in the MCU. What is most likely going to happen in the Sony Spider-Man universe is they do a Spidergeddon story, a story in which a ton of different Spider-Man variants from a bunch of different universes and iterations coming from different universes all come to one universe. And when I say a bunch, I mean a bunch. Just to name a handful in the comics, they had Spider-Man, of course, Peter Parker, Superior Octopus or Superior Spider-Man, Scarlet Spider-Ben Riley, Scarlet Spider Kane Parker, Silk, Spider-Bitch, Spider-Girl, both Spider-Girls, Anya and May. They even had Spider-Man from the PS4 game come into the comics universe. And this is what we've been theorizing is going to happen in the Sony Spider-Man universe. And now insiders are teasing it. Plus Sony is kind of teasing it themselves. If we take a look at the Madam Web trailer, we see a bunch of different Spider-Man iterations. We have Julia Carpenter as Spider-Woman. We have Maddie Franklin, Spider-Woman, and we have Anya as Spider-Girl. And if you're not aware, in the comics, Madam Web, which of course the movie is about, it's called Madam Web, she can travel the multiverse. And it looks like they might be leading up to that in the SSU as well. They're hinting at it, at least with Cassandra being able to look into the future. And when she looks into the future, she sees the woman become Spider-Woman and Spider-Girl. And it also talks about how her web kind of connects everything. So I think this is where everything is going to start to kind of get clear. Sony is going to build up to this huge Spidergeddon event to where all these Spider-Man characters and iterations are going to come together to eventually fight a pretty big villain or multiple villains. An event where we'll have Tom Holland's Spider-Man, Tom Hardy's Venom, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, a bunch of different Spider-Woman, a bunch of different Spider-Girls, other Spider-Men who aren't Peter Parker, Silk, Cindy Moon. All of these characters that we know from the comics coming together in one universe to take on a villain. I personally would love to see this. I would love to see live-action Spider-Gwen with Peter Parker and Silk and Spider-Woman. I would love to see all of this. And the great news is, it sounds like this is Sony's plan. But let us know what you think about this in the comments down below. How excited would you be to see this happen on the big screen? Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest MCUs and Spider-Man in the Sony Spider-Verse news as well. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.